Talk about my experience at 4DX.
Yes, fire away.
If you would like to go first, Davey, and
I'll tell you what, Owen.
afterwards.
What we can do with that is obviously you sit in 4DX, so you can give that a review, and then we can kind of give a dual review of It Chapter 2, which we've both seen.
I wrote a review for it as well, so I'll just say that underneath. Anyway, I'll go on with my review of 4DX. I'm just gonna start off by saying I'm incredibly surprised by it. Like, it's not the first thing you think with for me when you say 4DX is like, oh, it's going to be one of these 3D experiences where it doesn't work for most films. But no, like, this is, for me, this is the real deal. I mean, it was well worth the £16 I paid.
So we'll not at this point. We'll not talk about the actual film.
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk about the actual experience of 4DX.
Right.
So, what? I mean, I kind of know this, but just for some people who, if they aren't aware of what it is, explain a little bit about how it works, what happens when you're watching the film.
So 4DX is, it takes, obviously, movie experience to another level. So now, when you go in, you smell, you feel, you see, and you experience whatever's happening on the screen. So you go in, I'll tell you from what I saw when I first went in. Mine was at Cineworld down Birmingham. Now you're probably thinking, oh, why down Birmingham? Went to see my fiance. We went there. In Cineworld is very nicely set out. So it has a big 4DX before the doorway. It gets quite nicely warmed up for it because you're like, wow, like, it's going to be great. It tells you all the things that's going to happen in it. So it had like feel, water, scent, and obviously stuff like that. You go in, these feet, by the way, these features are custom made, so you realise when you go in, there's so much more leg room because the seats are more spaced out, and the seats come in sets of 4. You go in, you sit down, there's a little footrest, so you're on your own. It's like a massive chair. You're allowed to say if you want the water to happen near your chair or not.
How's that work?
I hope you said yes.
So I did. I wanted the full experience. So with the water, so I'll go for everything one at a time.
Yeah.
So for sense, because I was watching it was very clever because when the clown was near, it give out this scent of kind of like candy or
candy floss.
Yeah, candy floss or like a balloon, like latex.
Oh,
so
wow.
You just knew when he was going to come,
That's
but
freaky.
you never saw him.
So you knew when he was about, even if he wasn't shown.
Yeah, it was mad. Other ones, water. So there's a scene in it where they're going down a river. This lad's struggling to breathe in this river, and there's water like splashing on your head from above and getting sprayed at you because obviously.
Is it quite light?
Oh yeah, I mean it's.
Obviously, I know they're not going to drench you, but
yeah, it's light, but it's heavy enough for you to know what's going to go on.
Yeah.
Another one. They were in a cave and there was water dripping down my face or getting dropped on the side of my face. And obviously then comes feel. So with these chairs, what they do, if a lad's getting beat up or whatever, the chair punches and moves to where how the person who's getting punched is reacting.
So like, is the chair like wrapped around you a bit?
No, you sat like in the chair, but like, let's say someone got punched and moved to the right.
Oh, you get moved. Okay.
And there's like foods that come in the back of the chair or where the person's getting hit.
I think we need to add a boxing glove in the front so it can actually just punch you in the face, you know?
It was like
Real experience.
And obviously with 4DX as well, the chairs, it's so weird when you first get in because you're not expecting it. The chairs move with the camera angle. So if like a helicopter's coming across and it's looking down on the scene, your chair leans forward and goes forward like that.
That is really cool.
I know. So you can and the reason I say, like, I reiterate the point, it's not like just a fling, is these films, the hand picking the films that go into 4DX.
So would you say that
Hollywood blockbusters like it?
Or ones that actually need, or will actually be worth seeing it then?
So you'd say it's for specific types of films?
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, like a romantic comedy would work rubbish.
Yeah. If it doesn't have any action in, then it's just not going to get even a chance.
I mean, it might work out once 4DX porn starts becoming a thing, but like until
But it was,
Davey is absolutely filth.
one more thing.
Oh,
as
imagine
well,
the
like,
smells.
Those
Imagine what squirt at you.
it was so like strange as well, and as well as the foods, there's puffs of air coming out where like things are going past your head, or where like for instance, there's a part where this like body part is crawling across the floor, and you can feel puffs of air going next to your legs, and you're like, my legs are up, and I was trying to get away from it, but the chair really does move like a roller coaster. Like, it's incredible. Like, I'm sat there, and obviously this lad is having a trip, and the chair's pure footing, and I'm going rocking back and forth, and like, wait, what's going on here?
I've got just one or two little questions.
Yeah.
And then I also, don't let me go off this. Obviously, so after this, we'll go over the review of it. Okay? Like,
Yeah.
after we've done that.
Awesome.
So we'll wait for that for just a second. But you know what? And I don't know why this is curious. I'm assuming you can't sit there with your popcorn and your drink, or can you?
You can, but they're really nice with like disclaimers. So before the film even started, there was like a 5-minute disclaimer that kept on popping in and out, saying, like, giving you warnings on stuff to do, like cover up your food, or because obviously you don't want the water getting in there.
Yeah.
They give you disclaimers about not being intoxicated when you go and see it,
Damn.
because it moves you around.
Yeah. And what about obviously you said you can have a choice. Did they ask you as you walk in, or is it like...
Oh no, there's like wait for the water. On this one it was only the water, but I saw on someone else's Snapchat story that in some of the 4DX screens they have 3 screens. So it's like one single screen in the middle and then 2 on the side.
Yeah, to give you kind of like a 180-degree kind of feeling to the whole thing.
I also
I don't
forgot
know
to
if I'd
The
mention
thing is,
that.
if you're doing something like that, like, they would have had to have planned for that when they filmed it. You couldn't just
Yeah,
do
I
that
was
as a
gonna say, 'cause
post-production
you
thing.
just have to stretch it and it'd look ugly.
Yeah.
I have to say as well, they also had air, or like the wind going at you as well. So when they're going past like forests, there was a light breeze coming from your head, and obviously that was pushing some of the smells in.
Yeah, I like that. So, the question I want to ask you two is, any film that's been released, what do you think would be a great film to see in 4DX?
Avengers.
Actually, yeah, to be fair. But what else is there? You can say why Avengers.
Avengers, just for the pure constant action. It has its like just a moment of like pure. Wait, like, that's what I mean. Like, it explains itself. It has a lot of action sequences that would make it like viable for 4DX. Not only that, but like, you've got to think of stuff like, let's say for instance, smells.
You want to smell Iron Man's armor.
I can imagine when they're going through New York, there's like smells of burning rubber or metals.
Very appealing to smell.
Yeah, but like everything that just makes you more immersed.
Yeah.
No, it's like you know, like how people say, like, you know, 2001: A Space Odyssey is quite like dull now. You know, it's very pretty shots and stuff like that, but still, I feel like if it was a 4DX film, it would just be like one big kind of experience of trippiness.
Maybe.
Because like there'd be a load of options for movement in the actual kind of like.
Yeah.
But of course, I mean, it couldn't be done now. But like, well, it could, but you couldn't do it on the
I
3
don't think
screens.
you would, do you know what I mean?
Nah, not
Especially...
now.
Well, for me, I think it... Has anyone seen The Grey?
No.
Yes.
With Liam Neeson.
Yes.
And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, why?
To be mauled by wolves.
No. But what I'm thinking, okay, there's a few good opportunities for that to be immersed. Obviously, so one you haven't seen, what happens is plane crash in like Alaska or somewhere, and they've got to survive against a pack of wolves.
Yeah.
And I feel like with it being cold, they could really use the air in there, because there's a lot of kind of really harsh wind blowing.
Yeah.
And
Cold.
I could just imagine when the plane crashes, your seats vibrating.
Oh yeah.
I think that'd be
that
great.
would have like flung you about like.
And also,
mad.
this... Obviously, this is kind of... I don't know if they could do this yet, but if somehow they could make snow, like, fall, I think that'd be amazing.
Fake snow.
Yeah.
They could do it probably.
Yeah.
I mean, there's if there's bubble machines in there as well for stuff like that.
True,
So
So, yeah, I
snow
think...
would be fine.
I think it'd be just really... I think you could really, if it was a decent film, you could make it a really good film. The Grey is great, by the way. If anyone's
yeah.
seen The Grey, I'd advise you.
I
Did you
liked
enjoy
it.
that?
I
thought it was
liked
class.
It's cool.
was really good.
It was just I was so impressed of how immersed it made you feel in the film, and how everything on the screen was just impacting you.
Imagine mixing 4DX with VR.
I think I'll probably vomit.
Yeah, I was gonna say that probably. Yeah, I think that would have to be pre-done though as well.
Oh yeah,
like you couldn't.
You'd have had to have filmed it.
Yeah,
I can't remember trying to use VR on my phone. And
also, I'd be frightened in case I missed something. I'd be like, which way do I need to look?
What happens if it's just right behind you, and then all you just feel is.
It's almost
and you're like, oh, and you turn around. It's like, oh.
I think it could work maybe, but I think what I'd like is like maybe if they had a slight green outline and they kept that around where the kind of the best thing was happening, if that makes sense. So I could look over here. I could look to my left if I wanted to. I could look to my right. Maybe, yeah. But if I look like in the centre, there's a green box, like very slight, so it doesn't impact anything. But so it kind of shows where I should be looking, if that makes sense.
So like a sort of guide for just like a gentle guide.
Yeah.
You know, another film that would be great for it would be something like Interstellar.
Yeah.
Something
that was a great film.
So 4DX does a also amazing job of making you feel like if, let's say for instance, you're lifted off the ground, it does an incredible job of making you feel like you're floating.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought Interstellar was boring.
I
loved it. I did.
I seen it in the cinema. On the drive home, I just looked up at the sky. I know that sounds strange.
That's so cheesy.
But no. But I was just looking, thinking like, and this is also going to sound cheesy, but when you look at the sky, it just looks like it stops. But then I was thinking, it just doesn't. It just keeps going and going and going.
It's a thought-provoking film.
Yeah, it really is. I really, really enjoyed that. I mean, to be honest, I've not seen it back since I seen it in the cinema.
The only thing about it is Matthew McConaughey. He's a good actor. It's just you can't understand a word he's saying half the time. He's like Matthew McConaughey, Interstellar. You know, it's just like he's worse than Sylvester Stallone just because he like mumbles everything.
How does he even manage that? That's like some talent.
I don't think he does that much. Really.
I can't understand him. Like maybe it's not as bad. It's maybe just me, but it's just like
you are deaf in one ear.
That's true.
So maybe that.
Let's move on to the film then.
Yeah.
Wait, there was something else. What you mentioned? You know what? Never mind. I've forgotten something. There was something fun. I was going to say. I've forgotten it now.
Rip Davey.
Sorry.
F for Davey.
F in chat.
Yeah. Right.
What do you want to say? Do you want to say something about the film, or because I'll
tell you what? It's your bit. You do your review, and then I'll just kind of add in what I think.
So
everyone's like, the 4DX was good, but the film was rubbish.
So I give it chapter 2 around a 7 out of 10. I wrote it chapter 2 does a satisfying job of concluding the clown's story. Impressed by not only the post-production with its tremendous transitions, which were brilliant by the way. Like that, I thought that post-production part of it was incredible.
Oh yeah.
From young actors to old, but actors on set where they not only looked the part but sold it just. Although the gel between the actors was not the same, which was unfortunate, but I thought it didn't take away from the experience too much. The jumps from scary to humour seemed too quick in the first 30 minutes, but this did improve as the movie went on.
So do they use a lot of comedy during it?
There was comedy, but the thing is,
I do get what you. It didn't bother me, but I do get what you mean.
Oh yeah, like I'm saying, it didn't bother us, but it's like when you start sitting there and you're looking at it, and it's it doesn't give enough time as the first one to build up that kind of like tension. So
keep going.
So I thought the like let's say the jump scares weren't as scary because you weren't, although they were scary for me because 4DX made it even worse. Like I was sat there, but you know what I mean. Like when you sat there and it goes from humour, then the next second it's like okay, you're expecting the clown to come. It's like it's just too fast.
Does it do a lot of fake scares, like where it's going to be scary but it's not?
Did it?
Did it?
I can't remember many.
Did once or twice, but not as many as I thought. Like in the last one.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of those, like sometimes they can be used quite well, like to build the tension even more by pulling you into a false sense of security, where you'll eventually just think, oh, this isn't even going to be scary, this part.
Yeah.
Because it just keeps happening, but then boom,
so
comes
Andre,
out.
I'll take one part from the first film, and I'll take one part from the second film.
Obviously, remember, we'll try not to spoil it just because it's still in cinema.
For example, in the first one, I mean, surely you've seen the first one already. that little, chubby lad, I forgot his name, Ben, he gets attacked by some bullies, and he gets something written on him with a knife.
Help me.
Skin. Yeah, help me, or whatever. So that scene lasts about 10 or 20 minutes, but then it leads into another scene of them getting chased by them, and then they have like a rock fight. Compared to the second one, where it was almost like, okay, so something really, really silly happened, and then suddenly, all of a sudden, something scary happened, or like something serious.
There's just no build up.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, in the first one, there was about 10 or 15 minutes to flesh something out, which was tense and, it made your heart bump because you don't want the characters to get attacked.
I'm still annoyed that a certain part of the book wasn't in the first film.
You know what I mean, Andre?
Yeah, right. So I'm going to go over my kind of flaws, and mine's, I think, I've tried to look at it, like I try not to think too much technically if I watch a film, because it just kind of annoys us. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
so I was just kind of, relaxing and enjoying, like what I did with Fast and Furious, and it made the film so much more enjoyable. However, one of the flaws that it didn't annoy us, it just kind of, I don't know, I preferred it in the first one, was with Pennywise, because you didn't see him that much, there was a massive sense of what I thought was like a mystery about him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas in this second one, Pennywise is very much in your face. Like there's a lot of Pennywise.
Yeah.
Like he's there. So
Sometimes less is more sort of thing.
yeah, I like the more mysterious, I think. So in the first one, obviously, to start with, you see him down the drain, he's talking to Georgie, all that type of stuff. But I do get it as well, kind of what you mean about it was very quick. Like sometimes they could have maybe left it to simmer with, the frightening bits. But then, there'd be like a comment made or something, which it didn't do anything for me, to be honest. It didn't ruin it or anything. No. But I definitely get your point there. One of the things that I thought, a couple of the things that I thought we did really well was because the last time I'd seen this film was in the cinema. And obviously when you're going to watch a film where the kids and then they grow up, and I know this might sound silly, but I always have the fear of how am I going to work out who's who.
Yeah.
They showed that very, very well and very clear. It's very obvious who everyone is.
Can we give like a recommendation or like praise to the casting of this film? Like
it was fantastic.
It was bloody pinpoint. Like even Ben, he's like grown up and changed, and holy crap, it's like.
But he still has that, because if you've seen the first one, you'll know that Ben has quite a sweet look about his face.
Yeah.
He still has that as an adult, and the casting was great. And I thought my best one, and I instantly knew who it was I forget his name. What's
James McAvoy?
No. It's the. Hold on a sec.
Is it the lad with the protective mother?
The lad with the glasses.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna find out what.
Or the one from Stranger Things.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the actual actor for this, I can't remember.
Type in cast.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry, this will just take a second.
Loading.
Bill Hader, that's it. Yeah, so he was the one with the glasses. What's he called? The one from Stranger Things.
Aye.
And the way he looks, he just looks like an older version of him.
I know.
And I just say, James McAvoy, he is fantastic in that film.
I mean, I loved him as Charles Xavier in X-Men, so
he's a really, really good actor, and I think he's really underrated, if I'm honest with you.
No, he is.
I mean, he did play Split and like 9 different personalities.
He did Split fantastically as
Split.
well.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
But I don't know, obviously, like sometimes I kind of like to see actors in more of a normal state, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but obviously the Split, he was very strange, wasn't he?
It's an understatement, yeah.
He's like a beast.
Yeah, so like there was kind of a weird personality going on about him. And I just kind of liked how, you've seen him normally. And he played Bill, which is the one with the stutter. And but that's kind of how...
the stutter really well.
Yeah, it wasn't like... It was done in quite a way where you felt really sorry for him. Because he was struggling. And he just looked sad every time he tried to say something.
Yeah.
And it never looked or felt or hurt like... felt
or like
insulting, you know what I mean? You knew you knew he was doing it obviously to fit in with the character.
But like he'd done it really well. But as in this film, it's one of them. Do you know when? I know it is a Hollywood film, but everything was just lovely about it. Obviously, there's murder and stuff, but do you know when you watch a film and things look out of place?
Yeah.
Everything looked like it was meant to be exactly where it was. If that makes sense. Everything was just so clean about it. It was just a very well put together. Also, Stephen King made an appearance in this one.
Did he?
He did, he made a cameo.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll turn it to Stan Lee of horror films, just like appearing in every one.
Yeah, I seen him and I was like, I recognise him. And I was like, oh yes, he wrote... Did he write in It Chapter 2?
I don't know. I just know of the first one.
I was going to say, because I didn't know if that was... Obviously, I knew It Chapter 2 was the film. So I think... I don't know.
You know, let's just... I don't know. Does anyone know? Book ending explain... Oh, so maybe it did? Oh.
Maybe. Images. Is there... I'll look on... No, it doesn't appear to be.
Never mind. It's weird.
Oh, yeah, Mysterious Legend said yes, he wrote it.
No, I know Stephen King wrote the book, but did he write in It Chapter 2?
Did
he actually write...
direct?
Yeah, no. Did he actually...
Was there an It Chapter 2 book?
He wrote It, the book, didn't he?
Yeah.
Did he write like a
film.
second book? Or was it just the one book?
Oh, no, it's one book split into two films. Because obviously the
Right.
books are massive and there's been like...
Okay, because
That's the one.
that made a chapter, yeah.
There's been like TV series on it, or like a series of like 8 hours.
I genuinely have no idea.
That's why...
I've never seen the original It.
No?
No.
Oh.
I really need to see
if
it.
I'm perfectly honest, the actual new one is practically just shot for shot the same.
Really?
Practically.
I really liked...
I struggle to watch old films, I don't know about you.
No, not really. It depends what it is.